Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're here with the 2020 Volvo V60. The car's so nice, we're doing it twice. Now, you might recall we had a gold T5 V60 here on the channel not too long ago, and I ranted and raved about how excellent it was. I guess there was a lot more raving than ranting. But I really love that car. No hidden feelings for my love for Volvo, and specifically the Volvo wagons. Call me an enthusiast, what can I say? And this is the most enthusiast spec of this car. This is the T8 Polestar V60, meaning it's sporting the 2-liter turbocharged and supercharged inline 4. However, it's paired up to a plug-in hybrid powertrain. And that makes it both powerful, 400 horsepower, and economical, something in the mid-30s of miles per gallon, depending on how you're driving it. You get about 20 to 25 miles of electric-only range on this thing. So I was lucky enough to take this car out on a road trip from Michigan out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Helped a buddy move out there. Shout out to Patrick if he's watching. Set up in his new house. And this V60 was the ultimate car for that trip. It really does everything so gosh darn well. It's luxurious, it's comfortable, it's got all the amenities you could want, it's got all of the space. I mean, look at this. This is real wagon life. You could get back here, climb in, put these seats down, super easy, and then you could camp in it. Look at this. I'm 5'10". I can lay down. Feet are just inside the vehicle now, so a little bit less space back here than the Outback that I tried the wagon camping test in. But you can look up at the stars through your panoramic sunroof. You can have all your things back here, whether you're moving, camping, whatever you might need a lot of space for. And then, when you're not utilizing the seat down potential of the V60, come back here, throw them up. That one's a little heavy. And then, look at all this room you've got. I'm 5'10", like I said. I've got plenty of leg room. These seat backs are soft, so even if somebody were hitting their knees up against them, not gonna have an issue. You got air vents back here. Nice leather, nice materials. Grippy section here, some cup holders, good armrest. Plenty of room for not only passengers, but a rear-facing car seat as well. Something the E-Class Mercedes wagon does not do so well in, if you saw Tyler Hoover's recent video on that. And with this T8 model, you get these awesome black accents. Gets rid of the chrome on the outside. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the stance on this vehicle and the image that it's got. Look at this thing. It manages to be aggressive and sexy and eat bugs all at the same time. I love these yellowish, bronzish Brembo brake calipers. Say Polestar engineered and Brembo on there. And then you got the yellowish seat belts as well. Very classy. Before we get rolling, I'll show you under the hood. There's not really too much to see from an engine standpoint, but what is kind of cool is you have adjustable Owens dampers from Polestar Engineering here. So you got 30 levels of adjustment. If you listen, you can actually click these to adjust. I'm assuming it's compression damping. I'll have to double check. Either way, they are adjustable, and you can notice a difference. We dialed them down very soft for our highway cruising, and then when the roads got twisty, I popped the hood, twisted them up 15 clicks, and then carved around. I'm gonna get the air conditioning going here. And this is mostly just gonna be a quick drive and review and discussion on the T8 model of the V60. If you want to know more about kind of the V60 in general and sort of its options and amenities and general greatness at being the all-around luxury, kind of entry luxury family mobile, check out our review on the T5 V60. I'm going to link that in the description. The other videos that'll be in the description are a sound system review of this car. It's got the Bowers & Wilkins upgraded audio system. Sounds excellent, one of my favorite systems. As well as a review of what happens when you run out of gas in this car. I've always been curious about what happens when you run out of gas in hybrids, especially a plug-in hybrid that's totally capable of driving around on its own battery power. So I wanted to know what would happen if it ran out of dyno juice. So we recorded it. So check out that video as well if that piques your interest. So this T8 powertrain has been out for a little while now in various Volvos. And it's one of my favorites. It's really, really good. Very smooth. Very aggressive when it needs to be. It certainly doesn't have the character of something that's not rocking a turbocharged and supercharged inline 4 and battery power. But it's so good at doing so many things. Right now, driving around 51 miles per hour, I'm on battery only. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over into pure mode, which is kind of its eco mode. I'm going to come out of this roundabout and I'm going to get back up to 55, 60 miles per hour or so, and I'm going to do it all on battery. So here we go, 26. Lean into the battery power. And that gauge right there tells me right when I'm up to the threshold where if I were to push any harder, I'm going to get the engine kicking in. So it's by no means a rocket on electric only, but it has enough power to get up, and we're doing 60 miles per hour. Never engage the engine. And not only that, but the T8 powertrain allows you to really customize how you want to use your electrons. And I will talk about that more after we hit this corner in Polestar engineered performance mode. Rocking Continental Premium Contact 6 summer rubber. They do a pretty good job. They're not quite as aggressive on the road and loud and harsh as some other summer tires, so I appreciate them going with them for a good all-arounder tire that still is plenty loud at the limit, so you can have some fun with this car, but also know when you are getting to the edge of your grip. So what you can do, if I switch back into hybrid mode here, right now, the engine's going to shut off in just a moment. So I can see right there by that little water droplet looking icon that just went opaque, or translucent, that I was using gas and now I'm not. If that turns white, that means I'm using gas again. What you can do is you can go over here and you can say, I want you to either hold the battery at its current charge, so I'm at about just under a quarter of EV left. I could hit that and the engine would come on in order to, it would still use some battery, but then it would save some battery, keep the charge at about the same level. If I hit charge, then it's going to completely eliminate any battery usage, and it's going to use the engine to replenish my battery supply, which is really nice, and I'll explain to you a use case for that. Say, like this trip I just took, for example. Battery was depleted while we were on the highway, and when I was about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, I hit charge so that when we got into the city, we could use the battery very efficiently and just allow the gas to be burning on the highway when running a battery power wouldn't have been as efficient anyway. That way, when we got into the city, we had nearly a full battery. We could cruise around very quietly. It was smooth and unobtrusive and more efficient that way. It's really cool that Volvo gives you the ability to fine-tune exactly how you want to use your power. A lot of plug-in hybrids don't do that. Or they give you some kind of half-assed options. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take it out of charge mode. I'm going to go into Polestar Engineered, and then turn Sport mode on for the stability control. We'll do a 0 to 60 and then a 60 to 0 braking test. Okay, now let's go into hybrid mode. Nothing too surprising. Even though it's plenty quick, getting 0 to 60, I don't know the exact numbers, I have to look them up. It doesn't feel that fast. There's not a lot of sensation to it. The engine's just too smooth. The whole powertrain doesn't yank you to the back of your seat like a lot of BMWs or Mercedes or just more performance-oriented vehicles. This is the analogy I used the other day was this is like the valedictorian coming out for the football team or the basketball team. I mean, he or she could do an excellent job at the sport, but it's not going to be up to the same level as the jock doing the same thing. You know, the meathead, the person whose sole identity is to do sports. That kind of general all-arounder person is going to be able to perform, but they're not going out for college sports. They're just doing it in high school to pad their college apps or to have some fun doing it. But the Volvo is very competent in so many different things, and it can do performance, but it's not going to feel as performance-y as a true performance brand. And I know Polestar is doing a lot of work there, and some of their other Polestar cars, like the older inline 6 V60 and S60 Polestars, those were really quite good. But when we're talking this hybridized powertrain, it's just too heavy and too soft and too smooth to really feel like an M car or an AMG car or something like that. So just like any of its siblings, the Volvo V60 is excellent on the highway. We're not going to get too much 70 mile per hour speed, it looks like here. But we'll get up next to this semi-truck and I'll show you that it does have an autonomous driving mode, semi-autonomous I should say. It's Volvo's Pilot Assist. It does adaptive cruise control as well as active lane keeping, keeps you centered in your lane. So let's get up to 70 miles per hour here. And set. And then I can take my hands off the wheel and look at that, it's steering right along for me. It's slowing down right now to adapt to the speed of the car in front of me, but if I were to hit the turn signal, go next to them, it speeds right up. 5 different levels of following distance. The system really works well. I'm not a huge fan of all semi-autonomous driving systems, but I think Volvo's is one of the best ones out there. I used it a lot on the trip for, say, if I was taking a drink of water, eating some food, changing songs on the radio or something like that. I'd pop it into Pilot Assist, do what I need to do, and then typically, depending on what kind of driving I was doing, I would turn it off. Because one of the downsides of it is you can have your hand on the wheel, maybe like if you're going straight, once I straighten out here. If I were like this and kept my hand on the wheel, it would, after 10 or 15 seconds of being on Pilot Assist, it would pop up and say apply steering, even though I have my hand on the wheel and I was making very, very light, subtle adjustments. So it's kind of frustrating in that regard, but it does work pretty well. Other demerits to the T8 Polestar version of the V60, the ride is noticeably firmer than its counterparts. It's not an adaptive suspension, so you kind of just have these firm Allen shocks, and it's not nearly as smooth or as compliant as one of the T6 or T5 Volvos. If I were to get this car, I would be really tempted to get the T8 because I love the hybrid powertrain, but I would really think twice about getting both the tires that are on this. It's got narrower tires and then the suspension as well. So it would be really, really cool. My ultimate V60 would be the T8 powertrain, or at least even just like a T7 powertrain, something that has the plug-in hybrid, but also is not quite as performance oriented, like just has the T5 motor, 248 horsepower, whatever, plus a hybrid, giving me the plug-in hybrid range, but then also the driving ability. If I could get that, that's probably where I'd go, especially for the cost. And then I'd have some other sporty car. I mean, this thing's fun to hustle around, but it's by no means a sports car. Other than that, my only other complaint with the V60 that I was able to suss out after many, many hours at the helm is there's not much room up here for junk. And that isn't something that you really pick up on just kind of day-to-day driving. But after being in it for a long time, once you have 2 cups in these cup holders, where do you put your phone? I mean, you've got here, here. That's kind of a phone slot, but it gets up in the way of the drinks right here. And then if you look in here, I got a little bit of time before the light turns green. This is all that is of the cup holder, or sorry, the center console. So you can't really put your phone in there. I mean, you can, but you're sort of squishing it down. And then if you have it plugged in, then you've got the plug that's sitting on the end of it, if you're using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So that was kind of frustrating. It would be nice to see a little more storage area for like sunglasses. I mean, there's no sunglass holder up here. So if you're talking sunglasses, napkins, drinks, maybe some food, maybe your phones, you've got a parking validation ticket or something like that. You've pretty much just got your door pockets, very, very tiny center console, glove box, and cup holders. I do also want to show you how Android Auto performs. So, plug it in here with my fancy blue cable. Then, go... Oh, I actually have to switch where it's plugged in. Word to the wise for V60 owners or someone just test driving one, only the bottom USB plug communicates with the radio. The top one's just for charging. Found that out the hard way. I was trying to get my Android Auto Connect, couldn't figure out why it wasn't, and then just had to plug it into the other plug. So if you look here, Android Auto actually comes up as a little segment of the screen, but it doesn't take up the whole screen, which makes sense because it's more of a horizontal display than a vertical display. And you got a decent amount of play here. Everything's pretty responsive. And then you can press home and you have your other things. You got your normal map, radio, phone, all your different settings in here and there, everything Volvo Census wise. Got your climate. Then you press here and you've got Android Auto. Let's also take a look at the backup camera real quick before we shut it off. Very clear, very good picture, and it's a 360 camera, so you can actually press zoom if you want to get in closer. But then 360 view, and it kind of transposes the car up there, shows you where you are in the parking spots. And then you can press on different parts of the car and view just those cameras. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, before we get out, quick peek at the window sticker. So this one only coming in at $69,000. Really not too bad, given everything it can do and how well it does it all. Oh, so I was wrong. This is actually 415 horsepower. I'll make sure to fix that in the other part of the video. I think that's a little bit more than T8 powertrains of before. Maybe that's because this is the Polestar model. It says 69 miles per gallon MPGe combined. I'd have to do the conversion to kind of see what sort of mile per gallon they're assuming. But 30 miles per gallon combined for just gas. Pretty darn good for what you're getting. So all I can really say is if you are considering a Volvo V60 or really any Volvo product, I highly, highly recommend it. Volvo has not paid me off. They give me cars just like any of the other manufacturers, but I can just tell you, I drive a lot of cars, and every time I get a Volvo, I'm excited about it. I like it while I have it, and I'm sad to give it up, and I miss it when I'm gone. And it kind of checks all the boxes, and this V60 does it best of all. So like I said, if you want to see more on the car, check out our sound system review, check out the running out of gas challenge, if you will. If you like the video, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a bunch. Check out our other videos. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.